After A-levels, Rob chose to go to Loughborough University. He chose Loughborough because he was sports mad and the facilities at Loughborough were absolutely marvellous. And Rob had the time of his life. He was doing all the things that an 18-year-old should be doing and had a wonderful time. But at the end of the year, much to our surprise, he complained of feeling ill. It wasn't like him at all. We put it down at the time to just too much partying. But when we got him home, it was clear that something quite serious was wrong. We took him off to hospital, and within 12 hours of him coming home, he was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. So we were rushed off with him to Addenbrooke's, where a treatment plan was put together for him. It involved 4 cycles of horrible chemotherapy. And the hope was that at the end of that time, he would have achieved remission. And we were all thrilled that that was indeed achieved. At the end of the period, Rob was able to get on with the rest of his life, regain his fitness, and look forward to returning to university, which he did the following year, having deferred that year of study. He had another wonderful year at university, but we couldn't believe it when 2 years to the day, he again felt ill, and the thing that we dreaded most had happened, and the leukemia had returned. So once again, he was off to Addenbrooke's for treatment. Further chemotherapy followed, and the plan was for him to have a stem cell transplant. But sadly, that wasn't to be, because the leukemia came back once more, and he passed away before anything else could be done for him.
Pip and I were looking to the future. Our lovely family were growing up and we could see time for ourselves ahead of us. Tom and Sam were flying the nest and we had our youngest son, Rob. Losing Rob was terrible. Grief leaves you with an enormous amount of pain and energy, and I can completely understand anybody that would spend some time sitting in the corner crying. We decided that we wanted to try and channel that energy into something positive, and that's the Rob George Foundation. We wanted to keep Rob's lovely life and love and legacy alive, and so we've chosen to try and use all that energy doing something very positive.
The first aim of the Rob George Foundation is to provide practical and/or financial assistance to young people with life-threatening or terminal illnesses. There are plenty of charities who exist to make a wish for young people in that situation, but our experience was that there are no organisations who will provide the nitty-gritty for them, the things that they really need, the things that matter in their lives, like paying their rent, like buying them new clothes because their existing clothes don't fit because of the horrible treatment they've had, like buying them an oven or a fridge freezer to make sure that they can have healthy food.
The difference at the foundation, they helped me so much. They gave me funding for my rent that I had to keep going down in Cardiff. Otherwise, I signed a contract, so it was very tough not to let that go. So what they did for me was fantastic, and you know, it's so much stress goes with any illnesses or anything like that, that it's a little bit of help just relieves it so much. It's unbelievable what they do and what they did for me.
Our other aim is to support young people in the world of sport and performing arts. This aim too came from Rob himself. He'd seen young people that he'd shared many a happy afternoon on the sports field or in the world of music just disappear. Young people with terrific commitment and probably ability too, but were being held back by their financial position and just simply had to give up. So we encourage young people to apply to the Rob George Foundation for help. I think Rob saw this other aim as the antidote to all the sad scenarios we come across in Aim 1.
When I found out I'd qualified for the World Champs in Australia and that it would be almost impossible for me to get there financially, I didn't want to be a charity case, I didn't want to beg for money, so I was proactive in raising, and I did things like take lemonade to the top of a mountain and sell it there. They helped me financially to get me a bike of my own, a time trial bike that I'll be able to race on, and they've just welcomed me into their family really and helped me support and get to World Champs 2015.
Of course, for us, the Rob George Foundation will always be about Rob, but now it needs to be about the future. It needs to be about supporting young people when they need help. The Rob George Foundation at the moment is already receiving on average about 1 application every single day. So if you're a supporter, thank you very much. And if you're thinking of supporting us, just think of the difference that you can help us make, one individual at a time.
I'm Graham Gooch and I'm delighted to be the patron of the Rob George Foundation. Its goal is not fundamentally to change people's lives. It does seek to make a difference to individuals who are determined, focused and committed to succeeding.